Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to another corona update because it's still not over, but it does seem like the end is nigh. Today we had 0 new cases, 0, which brings us to today 372 cases in Jordan, and we have had 7 deaths, but we have also had 161 recoveries. I'm checking the numbers, double checking them, because in my last update about this, I managed to say that there were 7 recoveries. Obviously in my notes, I had missed off a number because it was around 74 at the time. But alhamdulillah, we're in the hundreds for recoveries, which is fantastic. And 0 cases today. I mean, you can't really get better than that, can you? We have been on a lockdown, a full curfew since Thursday. Yesterday. We have been on a full curfew since yesterday, since Thursday, and it will continue until Sunday. And during this time, there is no one in the streets. We haven't had this level of commitment, I don't think, since we started this whole process. Everyone is staying home. And I think that today, one of the best curfews in the world was applied in Jordan. During this weekend, the teams have been going out and they are spot checking different areas of the country and doing just random checks to see if there are any cases that we weren't expecting. Today alone, 1,500 tests were negative in the country just through those random spot checking. So the protocol was different today with the news, which we are all glued to come 8 o'clock. But today, actually we missed it completely because Saad Jabber came out at 7 p.m. instead from his home, and he gave his part of the press conference from his home. And then at 8 o'clock, we had the king come and do a speech. The king's speech today was a bit different to last time's. What marked this speech as different to previous speeches was, firstly, he was wearing civilian's clothing. So he wasn't wearing his army uniform, and we've kind of become more familiar with the king during this period wearing his army uniform because he is showing strength and, you know, that leadership with the military. But this time he's wearing his suit, he looks very handsome, and he says from the very start that he's not here to give orders or directions or recommendations. He wants to share his pride in the Jordanian people and his personal pride at leading the Jordanian people. And he kept coming back to this idea that the Jordanians are superior in some way. They're big in some way compared to the other nations, and they really proved themselves in their commitment to this curfew and to the united effort of beating corona. So he started his speech by addressing a question that he often gets asked, which is where does he find his confidence in representing a small country in front of much larger countries, a small country without resources, and all of those things. And he said that he gets his confidence in his pride of the people because he knows that all of the people are working together, that they are united, that they are a strong community that he is leading, and that's where he gets his confidence from to lead that community. And the true nature of the Jordanians are shown during these periods of strife and these difficult times that the Jordanians know very well. And this is when they really show what they're made of and they come together. And he ended his speech by saying unambiguously that soon everything is going to go back to normal. The children are going to go back to school, the church bells are going to ring, the adhan, you know, people are going to go to the mosques and the churches, everything is going to continue. And he summarized his speech at the end with these 2 words, shadda wa btzul, which means a hardship and the wisdom that will be left afterwards. So that is a summary of the king's speech if you are unable to watch that with English subtitles, I guess. So with the random spot checking that we've been doing today over the last period, it has proven that the south is completely isolated, that there is no corona in the south, and the problematic areas, we really know where they are. So we started this whole process by, you know, closing the borders and isolating the foreigners and making them go through their 2-week quarantine, and then working out where the other problems were, and you know, going back and tracing every single person that was dealt with that may have been infected by corona. And they've just done a really good job at that, to the point where now, you know, random spot checks are showing up with no corona. This shield that they put up and these layers of, like, these barriers that they assembled have really successfully, you know, they've worked. So the King's speech today really was kind of underlining the fact that we've done a tremendous effort and we have sacrificed so much, and that this really is coming to an end now. And I think that it is especially poignant that it happens now, because we're hearing more and more accounts of people who have a daily paycheck, you know, that they're taxi drivers and things, people who are earning their money every single day, who are seriously struggling now. And there is aid and there are various initiatives, and the government is doing the best that it possibly can, but stretched as thin as it is, there's only, you know, there's only so much that it can do. So really it is the time for the King to be coming out and saying, you know, don't worry, this is going to pass, this is going to end. And I think that the struggling families really needed to hear that. So I just want to summarize by saying how far we've come during this period, and I've learned so much about the Jordanians during this period as well, and I feel like it's just been this really remarkable period of time. You know, looking back on it and thinking that when this first all happened, I mean, it feels like yesterday that my husband was telling me, maybe you should be educating yourself on corona, because there's this virus in China that is kind of out of hand. And I was like, yeah, whatever. To, you know, this point where I was too scared to go in my garden without a mask on to put my laundry out, and what if the army gets me, or what if I catch corona, and you know, all of these things. And now we've kind of gone through all that, and we've gone through the hard slog of it, and we've tried all these different things, and you know, the apps that some things worked and some things didn't work, and all the different initiatives, and we're coming out at the end of it. And I feel, I don't know, I feel like being part of some kind of crisis in Jordan has made me feel personally more part of things, you know, and I really seen how united people are. You read things and you hear things about the different struggles that the country has been through, but I think that when you actually go through something, it really changes everything. And I'm really happy that I quarantined in Jordan. There was nowhere else that I would rather have gone through this experience than in Jordan. That's not to say that this is the end of everything. Of course, we've still got so far to go, even if we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But khalik fil bayt, stay at your house, and continue abiding by the curfew and by the lockdown rules. And as the King said, shidda u btzul. Ma salama.